Welcome. And on today's show, we're going to be talking mental health. If you have any left after this kind of chaos, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So stand by, coming right up. From the World Broadcast Center of the Human Darts, we bring you the show That Ain't Right, where we promise never save mankind. And now, here are your hosts. That's right. That ain't right. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that this isn't right, what we're going through right now. I'm John Close, and thank you so much for joining me on this inaugural launch of That Ain't Right. What we're going to talk about today, maybe 4 or 5 things about our mental health during this just bizarre time in history. I don't know how you feel about it, and that's partially what I want to know is did anybody ever expect this? Of course not. No, I shouldn't say of course not. Some people did predict this. Oh, I've seen the movie. No, I haven't seen the movie. I will not watch Contagion. But what we're going to do today is talk about 4 or 5 things that I personally do to try to keep my head screwed on straight, which is a major undertaking. Because I know sometimes I just right off the deep end. But before I really get into that, I want to say a heartfelt, and I truly mean this, thank you to all the people, the doctors, the nurses, everybody who's working in the hospitals, the grocery stores, the pharmacies, everybody who's working really hard to make my life, our lives, go forward as much as normal can be in this situation. It's just bizarre. That's all you can say about it. Everybody's in a different spot. I know friends of mine not stop working; they keep going to work. Things they can't do after work. People like me, I'm out of work. I have been out of work for a month now. Didn't expect that, but you know what? That's the cards we've been dealt. So we just go on and we deal with it. But again, 4 or 5 things that I do, and I really like to hear what you do to try to keep it all together at this time. Probably the first thing I do, and I do this at night, and I do this when I get up in the morning. Gratitude. I am so grateful. The first thing I get up is I say thank you to the universe, to however this all came together, because in my little mind, I don't know how it did, but I am so grateful for all the things that I can do. No matter how small, I can talk to my family who's here, my friends, whether I text them or see them or call them on the phone, or we just had a big Zoom talk with some friends I haven't seen in a long while. I am so grateful for all of that, for the safety of my friends, for the care that those who are in need are getting. You have to be grateful for this stuff at this, as far as I'm concerned, at this kind of time. And there's so much to be thankful for. There really, there really is. So gratitude, first thing for me every day. That's the first thing I think of when I wake up. Say thank you, and on we charge. I don't know if you have a morning routine, and that's another big thing. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's really, really important that when you are totally thrown out of your normal, whatever it is you do, whether it's you get up and take kids to school, or get up and go to work, or whatever it is you do, and you are thrown out of that, right out the window, finding some new routine that works every morning, I think is really good, because, man, you got to get the day going right, especially mentally. And for those of us who have maybe fewer brain cells left than we did earlier in life. It's just good. It's just good. I know for me, the first thing I do is I get up and I make the coffee. That's my job. I'll make the coffee and I'll go outside on the front porch, and then I'll go out and feed the birds. Gotta feed the birds. Now, I know it sounds corny, but for me, that's routine. And it makes me feel like, okay, as not normal as things are, that's something I can do. And it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter for anybody what it is you do, whether you get up in the morning and take the dog out, or get up in the morning and, have a shot of Jack Daniels, whatever it is you do. Now, I'm not certainly saying that's a good idea. I have coffee in the morning or have tea, but I get up, I make the coffee, I feed the birds, I sit on the front porch and take it all in. It's not a big deal. I mean, I've seen my front yard a billion times, but that's okay. I don't know what it is. I think it is that sense of routine that, you know what, I can still do this. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I think some of you, and I'd love to really, really looking forward to seeing when this is all done, some of your morning routines, what they are and what you do to try to keep that going. Because I know I've tried. This is what's been bizarre. You think you have all this time off, so you're going to do all these things that, never have time for. Oh, got to go to work, can't yada, yada, yada. So you think you're going to do all these things, and it doesn't happen. And it's the weirdest thing because I don't know why. There's like, okay, well, I could do that, but since I have the next 3 months to do that, maybe I'll just wait another day to do that. It's just a weird thing. But again, what you do to try to keep your head in a good place, but at some type of routine, whether it's, waking up and getting the kids up and, kicking them around the yard or whatever it is you do. And again, I'm joking. I'm making light of these things. But finding that routine in the morning is as far as I'm concerned, is a big deal. I ride my bike or do whatever. I'll do that. I try to do that first thing in the morning. So you have that feeling of, if nothing else, you've accomplished something. Okay. And do something you can do. This is probably, second is have some coffee. If you're a little depressed, actually, coffee is good for you if you can take the caffeine, or green tea. If you're a little down, if you get up and say, "Oh, geez, this isn't a good day," have a little coffee. It'll get you fired up a little bit, or some tea. But sometimes I'm feeling in a time like this, you got to force yourself. You really, really sometimes have to force yourself to get on the horse and do the giddy up. So yeah, have something, a little coffee, some tea, some hot chocolate, some ice water, whatever it is your thing is in the morning, and get it going. The third thing, so that's the second thing, a little drink. Do something. This is the third thing, maybe something you can do in the morning. In other words, don't the first thing you get up when you've done all these other things, and now you're going to try to solve the problems of the world. Not a good idea. Do something if you're good at, let's say you're good at math, and you have to help your son or daughter work on a math thing. That's easy for you to do. You can help them do it. So do that right away. So you feel like, I've got a little something done. If you're good at raking leaves, I am awesome. I am freaking awesome at raking leaves. I can be out there at 8 o'clock in the morning raking some leaves. So But I mean, it's the kind of thing. Is it hard? No. It's just one of those things that's sort of a weird mental zen. Whatever it is for you, maybe you love doing crossword puzzles. So and you're good at it. So do it early. In other words, back yourself up with some good feelings. Hey, I did this. This is good. You fed the dogs. You clean out the litter box, which is something that's always very exciting. I want you to know from personal experience. So do something that you're good at, and you can do it in the morning. Again, give yourself another boost to get you going through the day. It's good for your head. This is something that I really I don't know if this can actually be true. We're talking about sleeping. Hang on. Oh, so this glass is one of those things. This nice plastic, very nice plastic, very snappy. Things that occur in a situation like this. What do? You start cleaning. Now, we cleaned out, and I shouldn't say me, the bride, she started cleaning out underneath, rearrange the underneath in the kitchen, all the cupboards. And so out comes these things that you haven't seen in about, I don't know, 20 years. And out popped this glass. And I love this glass. It's simple, it's snappy, and it holds a lot of beverage. So we discovered this. I was very happy, and we got rid of some more junk. But anyway, it's one of those things that I'm sure you're doing in this time. Again, this is for those of you who are working every day. This maybe doesn't apply, but it does apply. All these same things apply. But yeah, I'm sure you've cleaned out the fourth drawer on the right-hand cabinet now. Already done that. And so now, you're on like, okay, now what am I going to clean out? Do I really want to embark on that project? But here's one of the I easily let off track. When you go to sleep at night, this is something I never knew. And I question this. The perfect sleeping temperature is between 60 and 67 degrees. Now, I love that personally, 60, 67. But obviously the big thing about this is to try to sleep well. Try to sleep well. And this goes anytime, but especially now. Don't be getting on the internet and, finding that some of the medicine that people are taking is, now we're growing an extra head because we shouldn't have taken this or whatever it is. Don't start that at 10 o'clock at night before you go to bed. Not a good idea. Get yourself comfortable, relax. Again, for me, I'm always very, 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 very happy. I express gratitude before I start to check in, which is important. But cool it down in your house, cuddle up in your blanket, and go have a nice sleep. Have a nice sleep. But again, don't look at try not to look at what's going on before you go to bed. It's not going to put you in a happy place. We all know what's happening. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I check on 2 or 3 times in the middle of the day to see what's going on, but I try not to do it at night. I just don't want to have the last thought in my head, that going on. I know what's happening. You know what's happening. Exactly how much more do you need to know? So that's one thing. Cool it down and go to sleep. Enjoy a good night's sleep. And take steps to do what you want to do. Take steps to do what you want to do. Now, people may be making comments. So somebody just sent me a thing saying they will pay me to rake their leaves. Well, yes, I am good. But I try to leave that to the professionals. I'm a I'm a top level amateur. So when it comes to raking leaves, uh, so try to take steps in doing stuff that you want to do. Okay, so I've had, in my case, again, my job, for those of you who don't know, is live sports. Okay, live sports shut down a month ago. Out the window. My job out the window. Me with it. Um, yeah, and that was that. And that was that. I have payments like anybody else does. I've applied for unemployment just like about 18 million people have. And yes, it's going so fast. They're processing everything so fast. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm in the same boat as a lot of people are. I have bills, but you know what? Could be in a lot worse shape. Could be in a lot worse shape. So took this time. I try to take step on something I've always wanted to do. You have all those projects you're going to do. Like I said before, you never. It's like, why don't I do them? Well, take a step towards it. And this goes for even when you're not in this situation. Take a little step forward. And this project is a little step forward for me. I've been I have been doing this with a friend of mine for about, I don't know, probably about a year, and trying to get this going. Um, and and for one un, un, unknown reason, it never happened. But now stepped it up, and here we are. So take a step towards what you want to do, and I don't care what if you want to, if you want to learn how to give your dog a haircut, just trim his leg a little bit, or just shave one ear a little bit. I'm telling you, the dog won't mind. And you haven't had to do the whole thing at once. It'll be beautiful. Anyway, you get the idea. Take a step towards what you want to do. Doesn't have to be a big step. I know my son just signed up for a savings program. And I said, well, son, how much you putting in there? He goes, $1. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. He signed up. He did it. It's a step forward. I love that. I love that. It's a beautiful thing. So take steps forward. So those are some things that I do, and I want to know what you do. Like I said, some of you are working, but when you come home, it's not the same thing as when you came home before. People can't go out. People are going out. I know some of my friends have kids who are going to work, and then they're coming home from work. And you're wondering, well, okay, is this good? Is this not so good? I'm glad he's working or she's working, but they come home and they've been in contact, with whatever. It's just so bizarre. That sometimes hard to understand. Some places are opening now. Now, if you can explain this to me, we were going to open a little bit at a time, right? I thought that was the whole idea. Now, the social distancing was sort of supposed to stay as we try to figure this out. Yet you open up like barber shops and hair salons, and I understand why they're opening. I mean, people are out of work, out of money, going into debt. They may never recover from this. I get that. I understand. Trust me, I'm not making any money either. But the first things you open are things where you actually physically touch somebody. I'm like, am I missing something? No, it's okay. That's all right. I'm not gonna get into that. But so again, all those 5 steps. Let me repeat. And again, thank you very much for chiming in here, checking in. The gizmo that tells me who's here, who's not exactly working. So again, I apologize, but thank you so much for being here. If there is If there's a like button, if there's a whatever kind of button, this is that you go, check the button down there. Do that. Yeah, do that, whatever that is. So that'll be good. Before this all went down, I was doing, I love doing little trips and talking to my friends and doing music, and I'm still doing that. But it's just sort of like now I'm thinking, gee, can't wait to get out of here to go do the next thing. But the fact of the matter is, it could be a long time. I'm trying to, and I slowly have working myself out of the fact that, the more we find a solution to how we work in this environment, how we exist in this environment, the better. If we figure out what we can do that is good, a little fulfilling. I know one of my friends that said, "Hey, look, I'm going to apply for a voiceover job." I'm like, awesome. Whatever it is that you're going to open an online store, selling leeches. Hey, go for it. It's something you never know. In this day and age, you never know. But again, gratitude first thing. Have a little nice something to drink in the morning. Again, some coffee, some tea. Go get into your routine. For me, it's the birds and the whatever. Do something you're good at, so you can build yourself up in the morning, so you're ready to go for the rest of the day. To give yourself a good attitude. Have a good night's sleep. Stay away from the weirdness of it all, if you can. And finally, take steps on projects you've always wanted to work on, like finding my wonderful glass and cleaning out the underneath the cabinets. Stuff you've wanted to do. Take little steps to do it. You don't have to do everything at once, because we may be here a while. Okay. The other thing that's come up is I've been watching movies and TV shows more than I normally do. Now, for those I work with, they may beg to differ, but I'm just telling you, more than so. Some shows that I have watched. Now, if there's anybody on here under the age of 60, no, just kidding. There's some shows that I've tuned into. Dark Shadows. Now, this, I don't even know if there was another one. A daytime soap opera vampire show, right? I think that's what it was. I mean, it was this. This is one of the early soap operas, because it was one of those where, as somebody who works in TV, when you start seeing the shadow of the camera, the boom mic, stuff like that, it's entertaining. But just, I've started watching that, and I'm going, wow, way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. So Dark Shadows is something that I've pathetically been watching. Now this one is really, this one struck me as, whoa. The name of the show is The Real McCoys. Now, most people won't know that. But it's a story, it's sort of a Beverly Hillbillies story. They moved from West Virginia to California, but they're not rich, but whatever. So one of the early lines is, the grandfather says to the grandson, "I can't believe you've married this 21-year-old city girl when you could have married that 16-year-old girl who could do the fields faster than you ever could." And I'm going, what? What did he just... Now, of course, it was 1963. And from what I'm told, that's legal. But anyway, I thought that was an odd Line in The Real McCoys. Richard Richard McKenna, a couple of very famous actors in it. But that's the real McCoys. So I watched that again, getting sucked into some of these shows is really, really interesting. I know the bride is watching. What is it on Hulu that we used to Saint Elsewhere? It's like I look at that and I go, nice hairstyle, but different shows. We all are doing stuff. I wonder, like some of my friends, I know one who has kids in swimming programs that, used to get up at 5 a.m., go to the swim, go to the meet, whatever it is. So what do you do now? I think I see them out on the boat. So you have to get up. Now you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. You just go out on the boat. It's a nice deal. So those are movies. Mad Dogs is another movie I just saw. It's not a movie. It's a series. Good series. And sports. I think I'm going to end this little chat on sports. The fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Tom Brady, I don't know what to make of that. I just it seems so ridiculous. But I remember when Joe Montana left. I remember when Joe Namath left. I remember when other famous quarterbacks left. Not necessarily turn out well. Though some did okay. But this will be a fascinating hire. Gronkowski. Again, I work sports for a living. And so sometimes I've overcooked mentally on sports. But the tight end guy, the Gronkowski, now he's in. So everybody think they're going to win the Super Bowl now. Okay, that's perfect. But I do wish everything would come back. I wish the NHL would come back. I've heard plans that always a possibility that they could in July and maybe August. I just don't see how you come back in August. Your training camp is in October. Is it in October or late September? How can you play in August, have the Stanley Cup, and then turn around and come right back to training camp? I don't get that. Baseball, baseball's that's a mess. But again, I wish they could find a way to do it. They could with empty stadiums. They could. Though I must admit, I watched that Taiwanese baseball game and nobody in the stands. And I love the fact that they put cardboard figures in the stands. That was awesome. And they had cheerleaders cheering on the cardboard figures. Yeah. But then they get into a brawl. And they all come out there. They're pushing and shoving. And the social distancing. Yeah, well, anyway. But I really, really hope those come back. Really hope those come back. Because I could certainly use the work. But try to stay mentally healthy somehow. Do what you can. Please, again, post your stuff down there because I'd love to see what you're doing, hear what you're doing. I think I want to hear what you're doing. But I'll take some ideas. If you've got them, I'll take them. And we'll carry on with the show. Doing we'll have guests in here. We'll talk music. We'll talk movies. We'll talk some more mental health stuff as we go along because we all need just a little bit of help now. To my son in Orlando. Oh, I hope you're doing good. I know you are. And tell Hash Brown the cat I said hi if it comes out from underneath the bed. But to all of you, be safe. Do something good for yourself because you deserve that. You deserve that. Do something good for yourself. You deserve that. And if you have the chance, do something good for somebody else. It will make you feel good. And if there's a time when we need to feel good, it's now. So no matter if you have a chance to do something good, a phone call, a little note, go ahead and send them a note. It's it's nice to know that Hash Brown the cat is watching. Thanks for chiming in there. And make sure you clean his litter box. But do something good for somebody else if you have the chance. Again, thank you for joining me. This is John Close, and we'll be back with That Ain't Right next week.